This week I'm talking about freeze. It isn't a weakness, it's survival. And if you grew up in an emotionally neglectful environment, a tribe that weren't there for you, perhaps there was chaos, addiction, narcissism, freeze isn't a choice, it's survival. Welcome to the Mindfuckery podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth, a trauma healer, author, founder of the Inner Healing Sanctuary. This show has been recognised by FeedSpot as one of the top emotional abuse podcasts worldwide, and number 3 in the UK domestic violence category. It's also featured in million podcasts among the best on narcissistic abuse, coercive control and complex trauma. Here we go deeper, clearing emotional and ancestral wounds, breaking cycles of shame, abandonment and betrayal, and reclaiming every part of you, because it stops here, it stops now, and it stops with us. You might have heard of fight and flight, but there are also fawn and freeze that go along with them. These are responses to stress. So when we're put in a dangerous situation, we're able instantaneously to feel, it's a vibration, how we're going to get out of it, how we're going to survive, how we're going to protect ourselves. Our brains make a split decision, scanning the area, deciding if we can get away safely or whether we've got enough energy and power to stay and fight. And when we haven't, and we're not fast enough, and we haven't got enough energy to stay and fight, we might go into fawning. And this response is used when we see this threat. We can't run away, we can't respond. So we're able to calm down the situation, use tactics to stall the threat, to get ourselves, talk ourselves out of a situation. It might be that we used exaggerated flattery or affection towards the abuser. This is fawning. And so freeze is the response when we're triggered, when a person can't win, when they can't fight, they can't take flight, they can't calm the situation down. Animals use this tactic by playing dead, and freeze was one of the most horrific things I've experienced. I literally felt frozen, my chin tilted to the side. My brain was still working though, I just could not move. Stress can be healthy. It keeps us focused and it keeps us alert. But when it's experienced over a long period of time, it's very, very harmful. And believe it or not, although freeze looks quiet, it actually takes up a lot of energy. It's not that nothing's happening under the surface. It's really like an iceberg. Everything is happening beneath the surface. As a child, you would have used this to make yourself small, to be invisible, not to be seen. It was used to keep safe. On the outside, it looks calm. On the inside, there's panic trapped under that ice. It's a survival response a child would have used because they can't fight, they can't run away, and perhaps they don't even know the abuse is happening. Primal part of the brain will understand it. The rational part won't. They see their parents and their caregivers, their tribe, as the ones that they can trust. Up until the ages of 7 or 8 years old, we believe that the people around us are there protecting us. Everything they tell us is the truth. So if you're born into an environment that isn't safe, that safety is your truth. Trauma is what you believe normal. A child doesn't have the physical power against an adult. It can't run away and live on its own. But the nervous system does recognise it's not safe. These tactics are then used as survival mechanisms, as they are in adults. And this is where, in this point, I believe, the empath is born, because of their hypervigilance. They can see the patterns. They can feel the change in the atmosphere. They know when something has been said that's going to upset someone. They can tune into those minute changes that other people won't notice. You didn't choose freeze, your nervous system chose life. When you're in survival, you might experience things like disassociation or mind fog. Perhaps you experience not being able to find those words. Your memory might not work. The hippocampus goes into shutdown. It's again a survival to protect itself against the abuse. You might experience numbness. because you're out of that environment, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not experiencing those responses. And if we use the analogy of the iceberg, well, we can just see the tip, but everything else is going on underneath the waterline. Let's work out how we can thaw that iceberg. I found techniques that I've been using and teaching over a long period of time were really helpful when I was going into overwhelm. I was receiving letters and emails around the divorce, and I was going into overwhelm on a daily basis. I was going into freeze. I was disassociating. I'd lose days to rumination. And I've been running a course, and what I found during that time was when I was in my body, that rumination and overwhelm was non-existent, or if something happened, I could come out really, really quickly. The techniques that I was using were grounding, and this is really simple. You can imagine roots coming out of your feet going into the ground. Perhaps you've got a cord coming out the top of your head, and what you're looking to do is connect and stabilize. If you're experiencing any form of rumination, overwhelm, the freeze response, or you're still fawning, you're experiencing fight or flight, it might be that you need to do something and you keep distracting yourself. This is all part of that response. That's the stress hormones that are flying around your body. So grounding is absolutely brilliant. Notice your emotions. Notice the feelings you get, whether you're reacting or responding. Those are wounds talking to you, and they will help guide you. Breathing is another brilliant way of bringing yourself back into your body. You can box breathe, which is, say, let's use the number 6. You breathe into the count of 6, you hold your breath for the count of 6, then you breathe out for the count of 6, you hold your breath for the count of 6. Now you can do it for longer, you can do it for shorter numbers, it's entirely up to you. Another way of breathing is to inhale and count as you're inhaling, and then exhale to a longer breath. So if we breathe in for 6, we might breathe out for 10. And the difference between the two is the long exhale is calming, grounding, and it's going to stop that fight, flight, freeze, whereas the box breathing is resetting, organizing, stabilizing. They're both absolutely brilliant. See which one works for you. Play around with them. I have so many other techniques. My self-care guide has some really helpful techniques that you can use to calm that nervous system down. In some instances, for some people, they may never know or have known what it's like to be in a calm state. They have lived from the day they are born in that environment. Remember, your body doesn't lie. If you're feeling something, tune in, listen, talk to it. Our wounds can talk to us, and we are able to take control of our emotions. Freeze is not your flaw, it's your history, but it doesn't have to be your future. Sending you loads and loads of love. If your whole being whispers enough, then you're ready. The next step is simple. Book a soul alignment call. I will attune to your field, sense what's going on, what's alive for you, and map where your healing begins.